Texas Heisman Trophy winners, and they will play on Campbell Williams Field for the first time today. The field has been renamed. There are new names at both coordinator spots, same name at quarterback. Sam Ehlinger is the FBS active leader in completions, total offense, and touchdowns responsible for, but even so, Texas needed some juice. They were stuck at that maddening plateau of teasing excellence and then just frustrating losses. They needed to make changes, so Tom Herman did. That well-worn phrase, Texas is back, had been mocked by rivals and memes, but the changes all aim new coordinators at bringing back a name worthy of Texas.
What are our goals in 2020? I do think it is important to have some macro goals. That means big, far off, overarching. The first one is to be the healthiest, most responsible, mature team in the country. Second, win the Big 12. 10 years since this program has won it. And every one of you came here saying, Coach, I want to win a championship. Every one of you. Every one of you said, I want this. I want to win a championship. And then obviously, third, and most importantly, win a national championship. That's what we all came here to do, including me, including your coaches. We have had this year circled for a long time, boys. We were hired here at the University of Texas. You were brought here to the University of Texas to sustain a championship level program. And that is exactly what has been built up until this point.
Here's the long and short of it. Sam Ehlinger, while all the numbers he put up, he was sacked 34 times last year, and Texas allowed nearly 293 yards per game passing, but the Longhorns getting set. Chris Button's going to be covering the game for us.
Thanks so much for joining me, Sam. It's been a crazy 6 months, but you finally get to play a game. What has been the most challenging part of these last couple months?
I would say the most challenging part is just keeping everybody focused. With all the distractions and uncertainty, it's pretty hard to keep everybody focused on one goal. And so trying to keep everybody working hard and understanding if we take it day by day, hopefully at some point we'll be able to look up and there'll be a game in front of us. And I think we did a good job handling that.
Now that the focus is on football, there's always high expectations, a big spotlight on the Texas program. What are your expectations for the team this year?
I think that the sky's the limit for us. I expect that every single day we're going to come in and get better. We're going to put the team before ourselves and understand that taking it a game at a time, especially during this time, you never know when it could potentially be your last game. So understanding that and coming in every single game and every day at practice to get better and develop.
Has it hit you yet? You're playing a college football game?
Not yet, not yet. We still got a little bit over 24 hours, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for 24 more hours, and then I think I'll be ready to go and excited tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam Ehlinger, Chris Button, thank you very much. In that stadium in Texas today, they'll have about 18,000 fans. They've got 3,000 spots for students. All the students, before they come in, have to pass a COVID test offered to them for free. So we're going to be able to see the new coordinators. LC, when you think about Texas, what are you looking for from them today?
First of all, Texas had high hopes last year, but they flopped. So now they got 6 new assistants, 2 new coordinators. Here's the amazing thing. It has been 11 years since Texas won the Big 12 title. 11 years. I know they got a shot this year because Kirk picked them. Yeah, that's good. He got him. Yeah.
I love it, Coach. I love it. Well, I think you brought up a great point about having 2 new coordinators. Tom Herman's a great head coach, but I think having Chris Ash come over, a guy that he's worked with when they were at Ohio State together, really understands how to attack offenses, will help quite a bit. And Mike Yursich also, by the way, was last year at Ohio State as an OC. So Tom Herman bringing in some guys that he's very familiar with and working. And I think Sam Ehlinger and that offense will really benefit from Yursich's approach. I will say this, guys. Texas got another team that has to learn how to win on the road. If you go back and look since Tom Herman's been there, 7-7 on the road, 1-3 last year. So this team, I know we're not going to have normal situation on the road, but still, you put those all-white unis on, I think they look kind of sweet. They've got to learn how to win when they put those all-whites on.
We talk every year, and every year before the season, we talk about Texas, and we talk about is Texas back, and we do videos and all that stuff. And
Come on.
Year 4, Tom Herman has had 2 OCs, 2 DCs, 25 and 15. It's put up. It's put up or shut up. Like, this is all his guys. I mean, this is it. Like, Texas, you got a 4-year starting quarterback in this time where you haven't been able to practice. Like, Texas needs to be back this year, or else I'm really worried if they're going to get back anytime soon. I mean, they got to get back this year.
Well, I think that they will be back. I think because they're comfortable now flying under the radar. And don't forget, last year this time, we went to Texas. We were down in Austin for the LSU game.
That was fun.
And then they were just trying to – it was a great game, but they were trying to find bodies for offense, especially at the running back position. Because they went through that a year ago, now they have some experience and depth at the running back position. I think Sam Ehlinger is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's a leader. He's been there. He knows the system. He's becoming more and more comfortable now with the new system. They say he's running faster. They're wearing their defense out, and they're under the radar. People are looking at Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and maybe even Iowa State. I think they're in a good position right now, RD.
Yeah, I agree with you, Des. And also a couple guys to watch. You got Tariq Black from Michigan at wide receiver, Jordan Whittington, who was hurt much of last year's back. They're high on him. A lot of weapons to watch for today. The same could be said for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. How about this new era for Notre Dame? They prize their against Navy, but when teams started shutting down and Notre Dame went into the ACC for this year, the schedule switched. Now, their strength of schedule, according to FPI, before was 13th in the country, but with this full ACC slate now and the South Florida game, it's 33rd. So in theory, at least, in early going, it looks as if the schedule got just a little bit easier. John Swafford, the commissioner of the ACC, has Notre Dame in for all other sports, and for this year, he's got them in for football, too.
I think it's historic for Notre Dame in the sense that they have never played a football season as a member of a conference. You're bringing in a tremendous brand in college football, a program and an institution that is very much in sync with what the Atlantic Coast Conference stands for in terms of the academic athletic balance. It's a win-win, and it's a win-win in the sense that it fills a need for Notre Dame. It certainly fits well with what the Atlantic Coast Conference was attempting to do. And the whole relationship between Notre Dame and the ACC has been a win-win from the very beginning.
Well, there have been some bumps because when they put the ACC logo on the turf, initially they put it in the wrong spot. So they had to move it inside the hash marks. That's not really a big deal. It's like a henna tattoo anyway. It's going to go away. Gene Wojciechowski with Brian Kelly.
Brian, this is your 11th season at Notre Dame, so you have seen a lot of stuff, but you've never seen an ACC logo on your stadium field. What is it like to be a member of a conference now?
You know, we're really appreciative of the opportunity. You know, as you know, our schedule kind of started to fold, if you will, when the Pac-12 and the Big Ten decided not to play. So our relationship, certainly with all the other sports in the ACC, allowed us to build that partnership back up with football, and being in it, we're obviously very pleased that we have this opportunity and to play for a championship.
During this pandemic, you and your program have handled the lead up to this season as well as anybody in the country. If they asked you, what would you tell the conferences that are still grappling with the idea of if and when to play football this year?
You know, I'm not a medical expert, and they have medical experts that they can, rely on. I can tell you what we've done is a lot of this is that it is a real challenge. This is really optional. The commitment they have to make to human behavior during this pandemic requires a lot of sacrificing. If you do all those things and have the kind of medical supervision, you can play football. We have shown that we can do that here at Notre Dame.
And perhaps Big Ten will follow suit. We'll have the latest on that coming up in a bit as Gene Wojciechowski joins us now from South Bend. So, Gene, what kind of changes in game day related to COVID have been evident for both Notre Dame and Duke as they get set for this ACC opener?
Well, Reese, I have been coming to Notre Dame covering college football here on their opening days for more than 30 years. And normally you would see Touchdown Jesus with his hands over his ears. It's so loud on a season opener. Home opener especially. Not today. Everything has changed because of COVID. As far as the teams themselves, Notre Dame has tested 3 times this week. They stayed in a hotel like they usually do on a Friday night before a game, but they went 2 to a room, sort of like player pods. Duke has actually taken it to another level. They tested each day this week, and they had 1 player per room in their hotel last night. So definitely taking things very seriously. As far as the effects on a game day, Reese, well, like I said, normally it's like as busy as an ant colony here. Not today. No pep rally last night, no team walk, no tailgating, no barbecues out here in front of the dorms. Everything has changed. They're about 20% capacity. Normally a full house here would be 77,000 plus. Not today, 20%. Most of that will be students, members of the players' families, the band, the cheer squad, and essential personnel only, Reese.
Gene, it's certainly going to be a different environment. Gene Wojciechowski reporting from South Bend as the Irish get set for their first ever conference game as they open against Duke. You see Notre Dame against ACC opponents since 2017. They've done a really good job. Clemson and Miami have gotten them, but otherwise the Irish have had an exceptional win percentage. But look, they've won the ACC tournament in basketball back in 2015. That's the crowning glory. But if they could come in a one-and-done situation and win the ACC football championship and then take it home, never to be taken away from them again?
Yeah, this is a win-win for Notre Dame. I guess ACC may benefit somehow because Clemson has been just walking through it for 5 years very easily, no competition. So now they have a team that can probably contend with Clemson in the conference. But you look at Notre Dame's situation now. Because of their new schedule, they play Clemson, which they host Clemson. And then the second toughest game, in my opinion, is going to be against North Carolina when they go to North Carolina. So those are the 2 toughest games on their schedule. I think they're in a really good situation to make a run. That Clemson game is going to tell us a lot about that program, David.
They're in a great situation. They're in a better situation now because I think the mulligan factor is going to be real for them. I mean, we always talk about them. They need to be undefeated because they're not going to play on Conference Championship Saturday, right? We're always looking around, and they have to play that day, or otherwise we're going to give it to somebody else. If they lose a game, they still got an opportunity. They still got great. They lose to Clemson, they're still very much in it. They could play Clemson again in a rematch. They can still beat North Carolina. I think they're going to be afforded a mulligan. I think the schedule sets up better for them being in the ACC.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think the history says they've never been in a conference. But if you're a player, this is just an added bonus. You went there, and Notre Dame's an independent. Now all of a sudden you're playing, and you got a chance to win a league championship and maybe put yourself into a playoff on the back end. And what kind of team are we looking at this year with Notre Dame? Well, Ian Book, we always want to talk about quarterbacks. The defense that we watched a year ago with Clark Lee as a defensive coordinator, they're athletic. This is no longer Notre Dame just holding on for dear life, hoping that you're going to move the ball and then maybe kick field goals in the red zone. These guys are flying around and playing with a chip on their shoulder. And, Coach, I don't expect that to change at all. So, a lot of talk about Ian Book and the offense, but that Irish defense, again, this year is going to be dominant.
Last year, the Irish won at least 10 games for the 3rd straight time in school history. With Ian Book leading the way, they won the last 6 games in a row last year. Notre Dame will be trouble for everybody this year. Mark it down. Notre Dame's going to be tough this year.
LC's got him in a playoff, doesn't he?
I think he does.
He's had him in a playoff.
Yes,
They better make sure that they don't take that mulligan on opening day with Chase Bryce, the Clemson transfer quarterback, because Clemson blew out so many people. Bryce has played a good bit. And, Duke was really rough. They were in the bottom 7 or 8 in the country in terms of pass rate efficiency and getting the ball downfield. But Chase Bryce can do that. Talking to Cutcliffe this week, as he's grasped the offense, he just continued to be able to help Duke make big plays. So you look at what Chase Bryce could bring in there with a little confidence for the Duke offense. And David Cutcliffe, LC, what are you looking for today with your squad that's headed to the playoff?
Well, take a look at Notre Dame's offense. They're loaded this year. Ian Book, the quarterback, can run and pass to get victory. He had 38 touchdown passes, 38 touchdowns last year. They returned the entire offensive line. They're going to load it. I tell you, Notre Dame's a sleeper this year. They're going to be a factor, I guess. I mean, maybe.
Hey, bud, do me a favor. I'm going to ask you a question that everybody watching wants to know. Can you look over your right shoulder? Can you look back there behind you there? You got somebody watering the plants for you there? Is it the deacon back there?
I hired a demon deacon to water my plants. He's doing a good job.
That's beautiful.
We got everything
you know what?
here. We got everything.
You do. You got mascots. You got everything set up down there. You're going to sit down and hang in that pool when we get done. But you're right, Coach, about this offense, and there's good reason. Des and David just put out a number of reasons. You go from a schedule that was 13th toughest in the country to moving into the ACC. Now it's 33rd, and you got really two games that stand out with Clemson and then maybe North Carolina and Chapel Hill, and then maybe an ACC championship. I can see why Coach is ecstatic, but Chase Bryce has been at Clemson, hasn't played a lot. So it's a little bit misleading to go against this defense. He'll make some plays, but I like Notre Dame to win very convincingly today.
I tell you what, we've been talking a lot about Ian Book. David started the show talking about Ian Book. You've mentioned him, Coach mentioned him. Let me tell you what I like about Notre Dame's quarterback. I'm going to show you a tape, give you 3 plays. Look for this when they play Duke today. First and foremost, he's a guy who's not going to put the offense in a bad position. The defense is going with a split look right now. Man at the top, zone at the bottom. Ian Book reads the defense, and then he goes to the zone buster. What's the zone buster? Tight end seam. If you don't believe me, ask Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Works every time. He reads the defenses, finds the open receiver, and throws a nice catchable ball. Now, they have a lot of running backs, so a stable of workhorses. Play action is going to be a big part of their game. What is he going to do? Take what the defense gives him after play action, throw it to the tight end, over the linebackers. Again, take what the defense gives you. Now, watch how he manipulates the safety, the deep safety with his eyes. He's going to hold him right there on that hash mark because Ian Book on this throw wants to go to his left down the sideline. He delivers a perfect ball, boom, for a touchdown. These are the things that Ian Book brings to the offense. Like I said, they have a lot of running backs, and Coach Kelly, he's just been really raving about how Ian Book has grown and developed as a leader. He said that he's single-minded in his approach now and that he knows what he wants. He says at this point, Ian Book is talking championship or bust. Those are big words, guys.
ACC championship or?
He just said championship. Hey, he'll take what he can get. If he can get the ACC championship, that means he beats Clemson. You kidding me?
He knows the answer to that. Notre Dame has only one championship that really matters.
It's still fun to say.
If he wins an ACC championship,
that is the championship.
He'll get a shot at the other one for Duke. You know, Ian Book better watch out for Chris Rump, elite pass rusher from Duke. Pro Football Focus said he had a better pass rush win rate last year than anybody. See if he can win the fight, and there's going to be some fights tonight. USC Fight Night from Vegas, Michelle Watterson, Angela Hill. The strawweight main event prelims start at 5 Eastern. You can see it on ESPN+. And also, thank our friends at Wheels Up for the cooperation they give us every week. They work to secure our guest picker. That's been the history. Of course, it's going to be a little bit different in the era of social distancing this year, but we're always pleased to work with our good friends at Wheels Up. Heather Dinich going to join us and get the latest on the Big Ten coming up. Still ahead, coronavirus has created challenges for everybody around the world. We'll show you some of the effects for the players and coaches as they get ready to play.
And I literally treat it like this is my last rep, this is my last practice, because you don't know. With this COVID, like, it's legitimate, and this very well could be your last practice.
And the Big Ten, Pac-12 for now, not playing. 4 coaches on the sidelines at the moment. Talk about what it's like without football as Ryan Day, David Shaw, Kyle Whittingham, and James Franklin will join us for our Coaches Roundtable.
College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Together tastes better.